So again, you can sort of see the idea is, lay out something that's simple for a business stakeholder to look at. Have some form of prioritization. I mean, the last point I didn't make very clear when I was going through here is that what we typically do, and I realized when I was preparing this talk, what we do is wrong. What we typically do is we start most expensive interventions on the left, least expensive interventions on the right. We ought to flip that. Okay. But the idea is the more we can push stuff in this format to the right, the lower cost it's going to be for the system. And so it's a way we can see where the x's can we move x's from the left to the right and feel comfortable. Okay, any questions on that before I push ahead? Little advertisement again for a different company, Q2 Learning. They have a different approach for blended learning. Doesn't sort of implement this model. They have it's almost an events of learning kind of gag name approach, but it goes around sort of events in what you want to accomplish and how you can map that to different learning interventions. I put this up here because we don't have a white paper out on that GLAM approach, and out of what I've seen, I think this is a great way. It doesn't quite go about it the same way, but it's a great resource to look at. So there's a reference to this at the end of the talk. And then finally, on right outcomes, I am not going to spend a lot of time on this. But in fact, I think I'm past time at this point. So I'll go very quickly through this. Huge issue in the field. I actually think we've been making great progress on it in the last couple of years. I think that the onus has gone away from where it was 5 years ago with business person's going to ask you for ROI, you better give them ROI or you're not doing your job, to, you know what we need some idea that's going to give us a sense of are we headed in the right direction, and we need to do that with reasonable effort. So we need useful insight for reasonable effort. For most organizations, again, your mileage may differ. There's not a lot of data this year. I think this is a place when you're having those conversations with the stakeholders to say, we're going to set aside some of our budget so we can have a better conversation with you next year. So we're going to go down 25%, take the extra 5%, we're going to invest it back in the performance consultants and in the evaluation metrics so we can come back and have a more grounded conversation with you this year. You agree that that's a good thing for us to do? While Josh Burson said up front in his list, measure everything, I'll come back to it because I don't want to give too much of a hard time. He actually has some great insight on what to measure, how to pick what to measure. So I think his book is called The Training Measurement Book. It's out now. That's a great start down the road of what's the insight I need for the programs I have that I can get for the least cost that will help me make the best decisions. And he has some sort of areas that he's grouped these things into, and some thinking about when you select each area. I won't go into a lot of depth into it, but I do think that essentially everything I've spoken about for the past hour has been about providing a management information system that you can use with business stakeholders to allow them to allocate what you're spending money on and how you're spending the money. Right? And this is a great, I think, component of that larger framework. That's it for me. I think that you get a sense of how you could go down this road. A different way to think about this is somebody should be able to put a finger on anything that your training organization produces on any paragraph within it and say, why is this here? And you should be able to answer, it's here because. They should say, why is that important? Because. Why did you go to that route? Because. And the final because should be, because you asked me to ensure that claim quality improved by 12%. So that's the 5 whys test. References here. If you'd like me to send you a copy of this so you can have the references, just give me a card. So appreciate that. Thank you for your time. I think I ran over. Actually, I apologize for that. So let me see if there's, I tell you, I'll be here if you have questions. Let the group go so I don't hold you hostage. Thanks.